serious vocals we have there. We have surely came a mighty long way.
Preach.
To many dangers.
Yes, sir.
And snakes. I tell you that.
I have a few stories myself, you know.
That's the fact.
But we'll leave that for later.
Yes.
Today, we're here to reflect with the class of 2021 on their journey at UB North. Hi, my name is Michelle Prince, a proud graduating member of the class of 2021 with a bachelor's in business administrations and accounting.
And my name is Dion McKinney, a proud graduate of this illustrious institution with a bachelor's degree in primary education.
And my name is Felicity Gibson, affectionately called Philly G. And I am a proud graduate of the class of 2021 with a Bachelor of Arts in Social Work.
Well, ladies, let's get started.
Welcome to what was formerly known as the University of the Bahamas North, or as we affectionately called it, UB North. I'm amidst the ruins of the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian, but you'll hear about that in the later segment of this production. Choosing to go to college was always a goal of mine. I had already planned that once I was completed with high school, I would go to the main campus located in New Providence and complete my studies there. However, there was one person that managed to convince me to make UB North my first preference. Now, you may be wondering, why am I standing here? Currently, I am in what was known as the maintenance department. The very person that managed to convince me to make UB North my first choice worked right in this department. That person I speak of is my father, Philip Charles Gibson Sr. Unfortunately, he's no longer here with us. I lost him along my journey of being here at UB North. Those days were the darkest days of my life, and I didn't know how I would carry on after that. Though he is not here physically, he didn't leave me alone. He left me with people that became family, people that loved me just as much as he did. These people, they held me up when I couldn't hold myself up. They carried me through some of my darkest days. And for that, I am truly thankful to him. I am honored, I am proud to say that I am a graduate of UB North, of the class of 2021. If there's one thing that I can tell him, it would be, thank you, Daddy. We did it.
Deciding to come to college was a major decision of mine, not only because of family influence like my mom and dad, but mainly because I wanted better for my life and I wanted to be a better influence on my younger siblings. Not only that, but deciding to come to UB North was the best decision of my life. Not only did I obtain a family, I obtained wonderful friends, but I actually got to start college and complete college at home.
I decided to pursue higher education because my parents always said, you need something to fall back on, son. Hurricane Dorian has proven that. COVID-19 has proven that you cannot solely depend on the opportunities of your family members. So many have lost jobs, loved ones, and our sense of stability, and you will be reluctant to find a job today, and so you need a plan B. The University of the Bahamas was not my first option, but it landed me here. In fact, I wanted to travel abroad, get that experience abroad, and pursue international marketing. But it landed me here, and I don't regret it one bit, because I was hungry for education. In fact, the greatest author once said, gold and silver will all fade away, but a good education will never decay.
UB North holds some of the most cherished memories ever. Now, I can go on and tell you about my favorite moments and my favorite experiences, but we'll be here forever. So let's take a listen to some of my classmates who will share their favorite experiences and their favorite moments here at UB North.
This is it here. Classroom 13. This is the first classroom that I sat in as a University of the Bahamas North student. It was Mrs. Moss's English 19 class. I remember sitting here with my freshman peers thinking how we were going to navigate this thing called college. It was also in this classroom that I realized that we would have to work together to make it to the end. Classroom 13 was also the last classroom I sat in before we broke for Hurricane Dorian. It was Mrs. Ferguson's research class. If anyone has ever taken the class before, you know how hard it is. In that classroom, I realized that I would call Mrs. Ferguson for almost all of my education questions. So this classroom not only signifies a beginning and an end, but two beginnings. One where I fostered a relationship with my peers, and another where I fostered a relationship with my lecturer.
My most favorite undergrad class would have to be EDU 227, Speech and Drama with Mrs. Judy Bethel. The class was so fun, it was dynamic. We even got to put on a production under the theme, I Am Woman. We had a great audience and everyone enjoyed themselves.
I would say that my most memorable experience at UB would be the people, both past and present. That would be the faculty, the students, the security, literally all of the persons that I had come into contact with at this university. We made memories inside and outside of the classroom, from discussions to micro-teaching to presentations to even not showing up for class sometimes, for mental health purposes, of course. From singing and dancing, eating lots of food at Culturama, Pink Palooza, EAS bake sales, to experiencing intense competition at OWEEK. Man, you just had to be there.
To measure a person's progress, growth is evident.
Two growths that stand out to me will be, first and foremost, my academic achievement. I now have a degree, and more personally, my confidence. I am more confident in my abilities to achieve and to do anything, big or small, and that's all thanks to attending this university.
Here are some of my classmates' personal growth experience during their time at UB North.
My name is Tori Rowe. I spent the last 5 years here at the University of the Bahamas studying special education. When asked how I've grown and developed during my time here at the University of the Bahamas, I can narrow it down into 3 things. First being my social freedom, the second being my self-esteem, and the third, like anyone else would say, I've grown academically.
From my arrival here at the University of the Bahamas North until this day, graduation day, I've grown so much. I was only a student interested in coming for classes and going home. Socializing was not an option. But oh, how things have changed. I went from disinterested to being virtually a part of everything that UB North had to offer. And that's how I became a student ambassador. I can't take credit for this transformation though. It has been the peers and the faculty here who have pushed me. I have found people who I've cried with in times of trial and celebrated with in times of triumph. Now, I have found my peers, my best friends, and I've also found lifelong mentors. Leaving the University of the Bahamas North will be bittersweet, but I know that greatness is still to come.
How have I grown, not only as an individual, but during my time at UB North? I am one of the shyest persons in the room, but I can tell you, being at UB North, being a student leader, being a part of multiple classes has really influenced me not only to have a voice, to be a professional, but most of all, I take everything with a grain of salt at this point in my life. I am not only so happy with who I am becoming, but who I developed to be. UB North is one of those schools where you honestly can say you have learned way more than just a textbook definition.
For as long as I've known myself, I've always been more so sheltered and quiet, having very little to say. After 4 years of UB North, I can truly say that I have left my cocoon and blossomed into a beautiful butterfly. Because of the friendly faculty and staff here, along with the many events held on campus, I've had no other option but to want to get involved. This includes joining clubs such as EAS and NSLS, becoming an executive member of the board for the National Society of Leadership and Success, and attending almost every single event held at UB North. Now here I am, 4 years later, doing something I could have never possibly imagined doing. All thanks to UB North.
Struggles and trials are a part of life, but when we overcome them, we become stronger. Here, some of my classmates will share what they have overcome on their pursuit to their degree.
Everybody's journey in life is different, and mine was no different from anyone else. When I started UB, I came with the notion that I'll be done within 4 years, but that didn't happen. Due to personal reasons, I had to start and stop and start and stop. But did I end at stop? No. I came back in 2017 and started again, and this time there was no stop in sight until this day. I am now graduating with my bachelor's degree in education, and I could not be any more proud of myself.
A major struggle I overcame was having a full-time job in my degree field and being a full-time student. Juggling the two was a lot. The early mornings, the late nights, yes, it was a lot. But I can honestly say that prepared me for my last semester here at UB North.
The struggles that I had to overcome to get my degree was, number one, not having a car, was because I had a 9-to-5 job and also was going to school. And I told myself, how am I going to do this without having a car? But luckily for my parents, Betty and Dexter Davis, that took me from and to work and school. And I also had a lot of friends that picked me up from work and also dropped me to school.
What I overcame to get this degree. I had to face one of the most difficult challenges in my life, which required me to suspend my studies here at the University of the Bahamas. I sit out a semester after Hurricane Dorian because I was not where I needed to be mentally, and that was something that I had to overcome to be able to come back here to say that, I can continue my journey here, my academic journey, so that I would be able to get the degree that I have. Right after the storm, I can recall actually my English professor who would have taught me for 2 of my courses, English 119 and 120, Dr. Sally Everson, and then she also partnered up with another English professor, Dr. Rose McTeer, and both of them were going around carrying care packages after Hurricane Dorian. They were giving financial funds, and Dr. Everson had called me and she reached out to me and she came to me. She gave me financial funds and she also gave me a care package, and all of that was a part of the university being the caring, loving, and supportive institution that they are.
The road towards getting this bachelor's degree was very challenging because I am a single parent. I was unemployed and I was out of school for a very long time. So coming back to college was a very emotional thing for me, and at the same time it was a little stressful because I had questions, I had doubts. Why did I come back? Would I be able to finish? And then I had in the back of my mind, okay, you're going to be one of the oldest ones there, so maybe you should not be here. So all of that was a part of the challenge with trying to obtain this degree. Another thing I had find challenging was some classes. Some classes were so challenging because I would have maybe never had any experience with some of the topics we would have covered, and then some of the topics we covered, it was so stressful when you have to gather information, and sometimes it felt as if you were gathering information what you weren't even sure was the correct information. So that used to be a strain, and sometimes I would find myself breaking down in corridors, breaking down in bathrooms, and believe it or not, breaking down sometimes even within the class itself. And there were times when I wanted to give up, but then I had to remind myself that, hey, Julie, remember, you have someone looking up to you. And I did not want my daughter to look at me and say, oh, I saw my mother try to do something, and when the road got rough, she just quit. So I guess I have to quit too. And I did not want that for her. I wanted her to see that no matter what you go through in life, no matter what challenges you face, no matter what, just keep pushing. Just keep pushing. If you have to stop, you have to cry, you have to break down, do that, but continue going.
I'm standing on a place that was once vibrant, brilliant, diverse, before the worst hurricane ever recorded in history made landfall. The place we called home, the place where so many opportunities were created and relationships were formed, gone. I sacrificed a whole lot, traveling from building to building to have classes, completing my studies while still trying to cope mentally with reality. Boy, was it difficult. Then came COVID-19, which has forced even me as a student leader to reach students to gain that school spirit back. It was difficult, boy was it difficult, but we did it. It reminds me of Romans 8 verse 28, which says, "For this we know, that all things work together for good to them that love the Lord, to those who are called according to His divine purpose. I can do all things," Philippians reminds us, through Christ who gives us strength. As previously said by Felicity, we are now going to hear how graduates earn their degree post-Dorian and during a global pandemic.
Starting college, I would have never imagined having to go through such a disastrous hurricane and then to follow that up, a pandemic. All at the end of my journey, when I could finally see the light. You may ask, how did I survive a hurricane and then a pandemic? Well, let me tell you. Power was off, there was no water, deadlines were due, my lecturers wanted their assignments, and everything in my life was crazy. Then, to add fuel to the fire, here comes COVID-19 and the pandemic. Like everyone else inside the hurricane, sacrifices had to be made and things had to be done. So, with that being said, I had to work. I had to persevere, and I had to start a fire within myself. I knew that my goal was to graduate the University of the Bahamas, and so I did just that.
Earning this degree post-Dorian and during a global pandemic has been nothing short of challenging. More specifically, as a future educator, this has allowed me to experience something we've always been taught. The world is our classroom, not just the physical building. Through these experiences, we were able to find strength within ourselves that we would have never known we've had. We were able to persevere, adapt to the many changes such as virtual learning, and overcome all obstacles. Now, all we have left are the fond memories of our campus, the friendly and caring faculty and staff, the many friendships and relationships made here at UB North. Now, today, on our graduation day, we can truly say that we did it.
Earning a degree post-Dorian and during a pandemic was indeed challenging. However, I pushed through and I put my best foot forward. Seeing our campus destroyed during the hurricane was devastating. But here I am.
Earning a degree post-Dorian was exhausting. Mentally, I was on a beach in Bora Bora sipping on a martini. Imagine driving from West End at 6 a.m. to an 8 a.m. class on Queens Highway, then a 10 a.m. class at TCU, and finally a 4 p.m. class at BMES. Imagine thinking that was all we had to face. Then here came COVID-19. Both Hurricane Dorian and COVID-19 were both a struggle and a lesson in one. It came with changes that I don't think anyone had ever been accustomed to. However, it made me flexible. It taught me that I should never get too comfortable, as Future said.
Weiberg once said, "Words are singularly the most powerful force available to humanity." Now you will hear graduates give their advice to prospective college students.
What advice would I give to prospective college students? The best advice I can give to you, a freshman coming here to the University of the Bahamas, is to network, get a group of friends, and have that as your support system. You're gonna need it through the most difficult and challenging times that you'll find yourself faced with here at the university. Sometimes you may be like myself, that found myself in a course where in the first half, I wasn't performing well academically. I wasn't getting good grades. I thought that, the best option for me at that time was to withdraw. And having a support system in place, a group of friends I could have gone to and asked for advice, and all of them had the same goal as myself, to get the degree, persevere, endure, and, don't give up. And they told me not to withdraw from my class. Try to turn it around. Try to get back to where you need to be. And I did that. I took that advice. I put it to use. And that's what you have to do.
Advice that I would give to prospective students is to use the acronym POP. First, you must find your purpose and allow that purpose to be your driving force. Second, organization. You must organize your workload. You must organize your thoughts. Thirdly, persevere. You must persevere through all the difficult times and all the obstacles that life throws at you. And then at the end, on this day, you will pop.
The advice I'll give to college students is, first, is to find out what motivates you, whether it be inspirational speakers, quotes, or scriptures. And some of the things I did was I had about 5 to 10 quotes at my desk at work on the left-hand side of me, and whenever I was feeling down, I'll look on the left side of me and I'll read a quote to make me feel better. Secondly, I'll tell college students to network, and not only in your major, network in other majors, and also come out of your comfort zone. Thirdly, I will tell college students that even if you fail a class, don't give up. Find out what you did wrong from the teacher and take the class again.
If I was to give advice to students coming into the University of the Bahamas now, I would say it is important that you find a mentor, someone who will be able to encourage you when you're feeling down, someone who will be there to show support when you feel like your back is against the wall and maybe you feel as if you're failing a class, who would be able to tell you, hey, stop, take a deep breath, step back, collect yourself, and then let's look at it from a different angle. How can we attack this problem and overcome this problem?
Wow, what an experience.
That's right. A famous author once said, and I had to write it down because it was said so well. Every day is a new beginning.
That's right.
The mistakes from yesterday are now just lessons learned. Absorb the energy and possibility of today.
Yes.
Acknowledge the simple beauty that can easily be taken for granted. And look forward to another new beginning tomorrow.
That's right. That's right. We did it.
Yes.
with no campus, through a pandemic, with virtual learning, and here we are today. All I can say is, nevertheless, God came through.
Thank you so much for your attention. We hope this reflection was inspirational to you. Once again,
Congratulations, class of 2021.
What a wonderful portrait of the journey of the UB North class of 2021. I am Dr. Theo Cooper, and it has been my great pleasure to serve as their Dean of Students. To the class of 2021, I cannot emphasize enough how proud we are of you today. Always remember that you all share this common bond, that UB North will always be your home, and we look forward to sharing in your future successes. We love you. And now for the grand finale that so appropriately represents their strong finish because they've had strong faith.
In this race that we ran, we had to have endurance. It was a marathon, but we were all showing up to win. In pursuit with faith until the end, we had to have a strong finish because we had strong faith. We had to have a strong finish. Strong faith. We had to have a strong finish because we had strong faith. We had to have a strong finish. Strong faith. Life's transitions all in our way, but still we're onward bound each and every day. No matter what, we'll continue to run for the rest of our lives till our work is done. In order to have a strong finish, you gotta have strong faith. In order to have a strong finish, strong faith. In order to have a strong finish, we have strong faith. In order to have a strong finish, strong faith. We can say strong finish, strong finish, strong finish. Everybody lift it up, say strong finish, strong finish. We have strong faith. We can say strong finish, strong finish, strong finish. Everybody lift it up, say strong finish, strong finish. We have strong faith.
Come on, class of 2021, let us sing! God promise?
God promise He'd be with me through every step that I take in this race by His grace. We had to have a strong finish because we had strong faith. We had to have a strong finish, strong faith. We had to have a strong finish because we had strong faith. We had to have a strong finish, strong faith. Oh, 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 promise that we finish. Oh, 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 can't stop. Oh, 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 He promised that we finish. Oh, 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 we're going to have a strong finish 'cause we have strong faith. We're going to have a strong finish. Strong faith. We're going to have a strong finish 'cause we have strong